Hello everyone. So today our first topic is Introduction to Flowchart in the programming of C++. So what is a flowchart? A flowchart is a graphical representation of a process or an algorithm. What does it mean? Algorithm means a step-by-step process that we use in a programming. So where we use different kinds of shapes and symbols to represent various steps and actions or decision points within a system. So what is the use of flowcharts? So we use flowcharts for algorithm design. Like whenever we try to provide a high level overview of the logic or a flow of a program, it actually helps us to make it easier to understand and plan the implementation. Then we have a program structure, like it helps us to organize and structure the overall program. Like we have various kinds of topics in a programming like actions, loops, decision making process. So it actually helps us to organize those structures in a very easier for the programmers to follow the logic. In order to implement the logic, it helps us to structure and organize. Next we have problem solving. So what it helps in problem solving, how does it help? It helps in whenever we face some kind of complex problems, so it actually helps us to break down the problem into smaller and smaller steps. Whenever we are given a problem, we need to actually break down the problem into smaller and smaller parts. First solve the smaller part, then you will be able to analyze the overall complex problem. So flowchart is one of the use case of problem solving. Next, very important thing in programming that we use flowcharts is for debugging case. Okay, so we need to debug the code. We the programmers, we always face some kind of logical errors or potential errors in some or the other parts of the code. So actually debugging is a kind of reviewing your code and understanding where we are making errors. So in that part also, flowchart, it helps us to debug the code in a very optimized and potentialed way. So now we know what are flowcharts, what is the use case of flowcharts. Now the next thing we need to keep in mind is the components of flowcharts. So the very first component is the terminators. So what are the terminators? Here we can see in the pictorial representation there is a start symbol and end symbol. So it is used to represent or denote the start point of the program and the end point of the program. So next we have input and output. So this is the pictorial representation of input and output. So what does it mean? It means that whenever we want to take some input from the user, okay, so we basically take the input from the user. For that we need to store it in a variable, right? So for that, for representing that particular part, we use this representation of input and output. Also suppose if we want to output the value that we have stored in the variable, for that also we use the input and output pictorial representation. Now in a particular program we also have different kinds of calculations we need to perform, right? So we have some kind of performing a summation or subtraction or multiplication. So for that we need to write some logical codes, right? So everything, whatever some calculations or any kind of logical codes we need to write, we use a pictorial representation of process. So in process, it is used to perform various kinds of operations in the program. For example, as I said, summation of 2 and 3. So in order to perform such kind of arithmetic summation, we use this symbol of process like a rectangle structure. Okay, next we have arrows. So arrows are used to show the flow of a program from one step to another. As you know that algorithm is a step-by-step process. So in order to show the flow of a program, we use arrows. So arrows, it helps us to navigate to the next process, right? Then we have connectors, which is represented using a circle. So it is used to connect two different parts of the programs, okay? And generally we use connectors in functions, so which we'll be studying in the further sections, okay? So next one is decision making symbol. So decision making symbol is represented using a diamond structure. So it is used to make some decisions in a program. So it actually means that it depends on some kind of conditions. Okay, our program, it depends on some kind of conditions, which means that the answer could be in the form of true or in the form of false. Okay, so it can also happen, like for example, I can give you an example of decision making, which is like we have been given a program and we need to identify whether the age which is given as an input by the user is greater than 18. So if it is greater than 18, which means that the particular candidate can drive. Okay, if it is less than 18, the particular candidate cannot drive. So this is a kind of condition we need to check. So for that we use a diamond like structure. So that condition answer could be in the form of true and false. For that we use a diamond structure. So this was all about introduction of flowcharts, and it was a very quick and short content, and I hope that you all liked it. So stay tuned for more amazing content right from basic to advanced. So it is our time to become the best programmer and follow for more amazing content Coding Gates channel. Thank you.